Jimmy Buffett has just sold all of his stock. No, just kidding. Warren Buffett has just dumped 100 million Apple shares, though. And we got to talk about this because this may be a sign of what is coming for the U.S. economy, what is potentially coming for the stock market. And I believe we need to pay attention to this because when the most successful investor of all time is selling, it's probably something to pay attention to. So in this video, we're going to read an article discussing his latest move in the stock market, and we are going to discuss the implications of said selling. Title, BRKA, Warren Buffett dumps 100 million Apple shares. Cash pile hits $325 billion. Wow, most people don't have $325 in their bank account. $325 billion, that's a lot of zeros. Good for that guy. Really has done a fantastic job. Alrighty. Oracle of Omaha's Berkshire Hathaway seems to be losing faith in the iPhone maker, with 600 million shares sold so far in 2024. Warren Buffett's sprawling conglomerate, Berkshire Hathaway, sold 25% of its Apple stake, or 100 million shares for about $22 billion in the past quarter. The sizable trim revealed in the company's third quarter 10Q report, released together with the earnings updates, follows a 50% cut in the second quarter. Overall, Berkshire has reduced its giant stake in the iPhone maker this year to roughly 300 million shares from a peak of 905 million shares. Oh, just 300 million shares. Who cares? No, but that is a huge deal. I mean, you're cutting your exposure by 66%. You're down to a third of your original size. That's a big deal right there. Apple is still Buffett's largest bet, worth around $67 billion. In a $300 billion portfolio, followed by American Express, worth about $42 billion. The only thing that's more formidable is Berkshire's fortress of cash, which is now at a record $325 billion. $325 billion. Warren Buffett is sitting on $325 billion. The amount of money he is going to make by putting that money to work. Oh my word, I can't even express it in words. There are no words for that type of move. The legendary investor sold $36.1 billion and shoved them mostly in short-term treasury bills, hence boosting the company's cash pile from last quarter's $277 billion. So his cash pile has just increased by $50 billion. That's a big deal. That means something, and we're going to discuss what that means in just a little bit. The past quarter was the 8th consecutive one where Buffett's Berkshire was a net seller of stocks as the Oracle of Omaha continues to remain skeptical about placing large bets out there. Still, the existing plays in Berkshire's portfolio contributed to realized gains of $76.5 billion in the first 9 months of 2024. Class A shares of Berkshire, the world's most expensive shares, have climbed 25% this year, outperforming the S&P 500's 21% increase. All right, so we got a lot to talk about here. First and foremost, why is Warren Buffett selling stock? Well, there's a lot of speculation about this, right? Some people are saying that Warren Buffett is selling stocks because he is fearful of potentially being taxed a lot if there is a Democrat victory in the election tomorrow at the time of this recording. A lot of people are saying that he doesn't want to pay 25% every single year just to own his stocks that are clearly performing very well, Apple included. And so that's why he's trimming his position. I don't necessarily buy that. First and foremost, because I don't think that tax is ever going to get through, but more so because I don't think Warren Buffett cares. I don't think he is fearful of that tax either. And I more so think that Warren Buffett is selling stocks because when a stock grows in value, it will eat up a bigger percentage of your overall portfolio. And once it gets to a certain size, you may want to consider trimming the amount that you own because at the beginning, once you first bought it, you were relatively balanced. You might have been 10% here, 10% there, 10% here, but now you're 33% in this one stock or 33% in this one company or 33, 35, 40% in this one asset class. And perhaps at that point, you may want to consider trimming that down because your exposure is too much. There's too much risk on the table. Yes, you may be making incredible gains like Warren Buffett is doing here, $76.5 billion over the course of 2024 in realized gains. He sold a lot of stock. He made $77 billion on those stock sales. So you'd think, why would you sell if you just keep making money? if you just keep earning more and more and more on the appreciation for your stocks? Well, you sell it because there's always risk to the downside. And if you trim your portfolio, you take a little bit of risk off the table. You say, you know what, I believe in you, Apple, but I see that the economy isn't doing very well. I see that short-term treasury bills are paying a good percentage to hold them. I would rather park some of that money in cash because I think there's a little bit too much risk out there. I think that your earnings are going to disappoint. And I believe that when those earnings inevitably disappoint, when we get into the end of this business cycle, your stock price is going to contract. And when you're Warren Buffett and you hold 900 million shares of Apple, when you see that stock price contract, you see a lot of money come off the table. So that's why I believe he's selling, is because he's simply trimming his position, trying to take some risk off the table, because he looks out at the general economy and he says, this is not good. There are no job opportunities. Businesses are not hiring. Small businesses are struggling. People are going on unemployment. People are dropping out of the labor force. The stock market, by his own indicator, is heavily overvalued. So this may be a good time to take risk off the table. And now he's sitting on $325 billion. And it's in my personal opinion, though this is not a prediction. I am not the Swami. I cannot tell you what is going to happen. Every single time you've seen the stock market get this overvalued, every time you've seen the stock market get this overvalued, followed by or in conjunction with an economy that is struggling, you've seen a significant downturn in asset prices. Is that going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But if it does, Warren Buffett is going to make a ton of money by taking that $325 billion he's sitting on and injecting that into the economy through buying stocks, through buying companies outright. He's going to make a ton of money. Warren Buffett did this in 2008. In 2008, Warren Buffett took all of his dry powder, all of his cash that was sitting on the sidelines, and he bought stocks. And those stocks ripped from 2009 all the way to 2020 and even to the present day. And he made a killing, because whenever stocks come down, when asset prices fall, it's not about who makes money during those times, because barely anybody does. Some people short and they make money. That is a very, 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 very small percentage of the population. 0.1% of 1%. More so, it's about who loses the least. Because if you lose the least, that means you have money. And if you have money, that means you can buy more shares of stuff that you know is valuable. And in Warren Buffett's case, that's going to be Apple. Because I bet you he's not selling because he thinks the company is terrible. Warren Buffett is not selling Apple stock because he thinks that Apple is terrible. No, he's selling it because he's overweight. And now that he has cash, he's going to collect his dividend yield. His cash isn't tied up for a long time. It's short-term treasuries, probably 1 year, 2 years at the most. This might even be including 3-month, 6-month treasury bills. So his money may not be tied up that long. And he'll be able to deploy that capital into the economy through the form of buying stocks and buying companies outright and make a ton of money while everybody else is panicking if there is a crisis, which, if you've been on YouTube over the past 2 years, 3 years, you've probably seen video after video discussing how there is going to be a crisis. Will there be? I don't know. But it's a good idea to trim your position. With that being said, Warren Buffett, selling stocks, big deal? Yes or no? You decide. But that's the update for today. This is the New Da Vinci. I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Peace. Have a great day.